We're just waiting on one more trustee, so. Less than a minute. I have it right here. Oh, Diana had you right there. I was going to open the computer, but we decided it's best now. Private property. Speed it up. Okay. Okay, I didn't hook up the microphones. If at any time that anyone cannot hear what a board member is saying, please just raise your hand and we'll make sure they speak up a little bit. For those of you who are new, I see some different faces here. We have our clerk treasurer, Jada Burgess, trustee Deb Padaleski, trustee Mark Prow, trustee Scott Valiski. I'm Mayor Marguerite Sherman, Deputy Mayor Jess Marciano, and our Fire Chief Steve Cooley. So we
Get used to saying
Get used to hearing.
So this is our session for the board to get some things move quickly as we progress in the fire department ambulance service. So we're going to start off this meeting with an overtime in the fire department with Chief Cooley heading it up, and we will probably add in some things and add some questions for you, Chief. And you are officially in the hot seat.
There was some other stuff, the printer went down today. There was some other stuff that went down.
Okay, so they can't hear you, Steve.
The printer went down today, so there's some other stuff that I don't have that I wanted to look at this afternoon, but I used my email that I had set up. Overtime historic. So these are each packet, and in these packets, it's year to date on this first one, and then the previous years going back. I'm responsible for the top sheet for the current year. The other ones were just historical that I pulled from the computer that Matt had already in there. But here.
big one has it done.
You got a next one?
There.
When I was the litmus paper, did you change anything?
No.
Okay,
No.
that was the test. So, but if you need this,
No, that's fine. I can work off of Justice.
well, no, I've got mine.
So that's how it's all broken down for this year. It's changed a little bit over the years. This is the most current version since I was trained how to do payroll on that first pay period. Just you take the overtime and you count it where it needs to go. So this is that email, Debbie, back to you when I was quoting the percentages and the overtime and stuff. This is where I got those breakdowns. And I think it was before I did the last payroll on here. So there might be a week or two addition into here. 2584. Yeah, so there's one or two more payrolls on here. One, two.
Chief Jackson's last day.
He wants to know when Chief Jackson's last day was on payroll.
Oh, 7/12.
I'm sorry, what?
His last day. Okay.
Yes.
6th.
Yep, because the retirement party was a 7.
Yes,
I didn't email all those dates to you guys. That came through, that was out of the firehouse reports. So,
Were these numbers in here, were these like up there? Captain Higgins leaving or some of this overtime, do they have a permanent vacation?
yeah, it's inclusive of everything. So that would be in the posted shifts.
Yeah, I looked back.
That would be in that column.
Yeah, 'cause I saw.
So that column's gonna account for things like, so you see injury and sick all the way to the right. So it's everything related to a hold. It's any scheduled, any hold.
I was looking at the total, so I just went minus.
And it's peak vacation season.
well, I think we need to just, we should probably preface the discussion with the fact that for this current budget year, the board by a majority of vote said that they wanted to reduce the staffing to 16 firefighters for 4 platoons, which is the minimum according to their contract, instead of 20. We had hoped that the additional overtime, some had hoped that the additional overtime would compensate for the salaries that we weren't benefits. When the board did their budget, they did not add to the overtime line when they prepared the budget, but they took away potentially four positions. So therefore, now we did not also anticipate that several people would be leaving with a retirement and resignations. So that's put us behind, way under our minimum of staffing of 16 firefighters.
What is that number?
The current staffing,
Today we're at 17.
today we're at 17,
Right, so
because on September 25th is the last day for one
And
person.
then we'll be down to 16.
And that includes
16
the chief?
includes you,
Then we'll be down to 15.
down to 15.
Okay.
And we have another injured.
Yes,
So
long-term
that's
injury. So we're
long-term
down
injury.
there.
So we have two positions that we are filling completely with overtime. We
Yes.
will have it starting next week.
So if I just might jump in a little bit here before we
Absolutely.
get too far in the weeds. When we agreed to go to 16, I believe we agreed as well that the overtime budget would stay at 140,000. I would not have agreed to reduce the staff and keep overtime at the same amount that it had been for the past 2 or 3 years without assuming that there was going to be some change in the way we do business. And I'm pretty sure that was the discussion. And we were supposed to be working on that during this year. And up until this point, we haven't really addressed it until today. At the last meeting, I know Marguerite, you made a mention that our staffing had gotten as low as 13. So I looked it up today, and we have not dropped below 16 since the 1st of June. In fact, we've been at 16 4 weeks out of the 15 since June 1st. We've had 19, 17, 16, 18. So
just for clarification, on payroll, but not necessarily all working because of the injuries, right? But that's how many employees.
Right.
That's right. That's how many employees,
And
right?
burning time and though, okay. 'Cause
Yes.
at first I was confused. I was like, wait a minute.
Right. So they might not be working. They might not be
Right,
working.
right.
and
I think at one point we were
understand
down to 12 that were
But they
able
were-
to come in and work. Well, no, because there was one injured still on there as well. Because we had a night, and I know this for a fact, there was a complaint.
Well, I didn't see any of the payroll sheets that showed somebody was out the whole week but got paid. So that's, people got payouts when they were done. But I
Right.
think that the point that I would like to make to move this forward a little bit is that, so I guess I need to understand how it is that overtime is working. Like, I think I need to understand when are you calling in for overtime? So I understand the filling in of the shifts. I
Right.
understand that. I understand filling in for vacation, personal time. There's, so, I mean, there was 136 hours in benefit time. They had to be covered. Another week,
Right.
The first week in August, overtime was 298 hours and you were covering 192 hours. So I understand I understand the 192 hours. I think the difference that that I would like to see the department work on is the difference. The difference between that 192 hours where you're covering benefit and the hours that we're paying in overtime. That's the mystery figure for me.
So that week of 8/23, you're talking the 192 posted?
Yeah, well, and any of them, I don't, yeah, I mean, on 8/20, the week of 8/24 to 8/30, we paid 330 hours of overtime,
Right.
and there was 144 that were attributed to time off, sick, vacation, personal. So
Well,
that's
it's-
the difference is the
it was-
number that I'm hoping we can work on.
So 204 plus 72. So there was 276 that was purely contractual.
So yeah, so like, explain that, I guess. So you're saying,
So I had, the injured party worked looking at the 72 hours, that's 2 employees. One was on 124. There was a sickness that went up 8/31. Injured firefighter. So the 72 hours is attributed. So that's automatic fills on those ones. And then the 204 is holes in the schedule to bring it up to 4-man on that day,
we are,
all week long.
and we are scheduling 4 and not 5.
Correct.
We are scheduling. 4.
Yeah. And if there was a trainee there may have been a 5th person on that day, but that 5th person doesn't count. They're not trained yet. So we were in the midst of training. We did 2 rounds of hiring this month, 2 and 2. And then that first week is all in-house, Monday through Friday. And then they got put with their crews. We did that with both rounds of hires. So then the training could be done on duty. They're working as a third wheel, we'll call it, as a third wheel on an ambulance. And there's a clearing process they go to.
And the board did receive that information that you had provided for me, the training.
Probably a month ago. And then what we
Where-
also did, there was multiple conversations after this. So, with the lieutenant that handles the inputting of the schedule and the overwatch of the schedule, Lieutenant Crooks has done a bang up job with the schedule. A lot of changes. There's a lot of holes, and you don't want to have a hole at 7:00 in the morning and trying to call people in. So we haven't had any missed shifts, like missed holes. It's been covered. Then we get the new hires filtered in their assignments. It's been very chaotic, but don't know where my point was. I lost the.
She was making sure there weren't 5 on.
Right, so there were 5 on. So, and then I was on vacation, MTO Fisher called me, we discussed the clearing policy. Specifically for one of the new hires, because he was coming from a commercial ambulance. And we didn't feel that we needed to take all the time that is necessary in that. So we changed the policy around a little bit, shortened it. We were immediately able to cut 108 hours out from the next 2 weeks of overtime.
Because of the training.
What's that?
Because of the training policy?
Yeah, so we changed it because he didn't need the time, right? It just would have been more time training that he didn't need. He had hit all his marks and we were able to clear him to a certain point so he could start the paramedic training phase in a one-on-one with training officer Fisher.
How many weeks is it?
At the academy,
Yeah.
15.
15.
But they don't start that until
Right.
February.
And this particular firefighter has already had the academy. So this is just to get him into his paramedic training, which I think he's in his
How long?
second
will
or
they have
third
to go?
week. What's that?
How long will they have?
New York State law is 2 years
From hire date?
from hire date.
Or from when you're officially trained with us?
Hire date. Has to be completed.
That must be written down someplace. 2 years from hire date.
Yeah, I don't believe that's changed. That was, and there was also a change to the way we did some spot overtime shifts that we had come up for the football games. So we would send one of the firefighters that was training. He might be cleared to drive, but he might not be cleared to be in the back. We had one person sign up for the overtime, 4-hour overtime shift. So we would send the new hire that's cleared to drive in the driver's seat with somebody in the passenger seat that was a fully cleared firefighter. So we were able to trim down some of the overtime there too. So we were actively making decisions like that. We were communicating, the 3 of us, especially with the new hires,
And you've done a few more things in this year with the board to cut down on the overtime. You taking some calls and then making some.
Yeah,
And excuse me. With non-emergent,
yeah, I mean, the past couple of weeks, I've been taking calls. I mean, I was talking to Scott as I was coming back from Batavia the other day. Today, another call. There was 4 times I covered the fire out. The guys have been busy all day. Gone all. So.
Do we have a printout of when these, when we post our calls and the frequency of them? Do we have a time frame when these calls are, it says that we have 434 transfers to Medina Hospital. Do we have a time stamp on them when those calls are?
Mhm.
Okay. How would we get that?
I can run a report.
Just all.
All calls?
Yeah, just to see where, fluctuation.
The highs and the lows. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can run. Yeah, there's a statistical report that you can run that'll show you the breakdowns.
Okay.
and Steve, we talked a little bit one day about holding off on transfers that are not emergent.
The scheduling stuff, yeah, that comes into play I would say daily, the senior man or the officer working, they prioritize all the work that's getting done, right? Except the 9/11 calls, we handle them as they come in. But we've even called Orchard Manor and said, hey, can we hold this call a little bit? We got a crew coming back from Batavia. We have done. So but yes, the calls that come in, they're not. We handle that with existing manpower, and overtime wise, we're not calling in people.
Okay. Yes.
That data,
Yes.
that's more than that number. I think already has a breakdown for me and ambulance by day of week and hour of the day.
Oh, you did it already?
Year by year.
Thank you.
So Justin Niederhofer has come in case the board has any questions for him. And was that when we discussed the mutual aid, Justin?
With that. Within the data that I sent to you asked about the data I sent in for your EMS study. So it's got all the EMS metric data.
Okay.
Excel file.
So you see where we're at, Bill.
No, I do. I do.
I mean, we're projected at this rate, to have an overtime budget of over $500,000. I mean, that's
You know what my projection was in March?
not gonna work.
And I talked to fire chief in March and I explained to him that and I showed him my math. My estimation was 600,000.
Could I see that math?
So,
Could we see that math?
yeah, I did it using historical data from last year. Because, and how I did it, Scott, was I think when we were at the March meeting, that was March, Mike, me and Matt came, we were talking about the overtime and we were right about 120, I think. And then the answer got probably gonna be close to 150. So for that whole year, we had one crew. So with one crew down to 4, that overtime was at 120 without an injury. So it was just some estimations that I did. That was a worst case scenario. But I told Matt that I was, worried it was going to be that. His estimations were lower, but that was my initial estimation now.
600?
Yeah.
So if we're at that and we've had 16 on our payroll and we're 8 firemen down,
I think we're 7 down from,
so we would need to hire 7 more to a time at the tune of 100,000 firemen
no.
without training. That would be 700,000 to staff.
No. We lost 7 firefighters since April, I believe, is what I sent you on the firehouse reports. It's got their hire date and it's got their end date.
So I think this is like part of the point though. I mean, when we went to 21 firefighters, there was no real reduction in overtime. I mean, it's right here in black and white. In fact, it went up. 172,000, 138,000, 146,000, 144,000, 164,000, and 128,000 to date from June with 21 firefighters. So 21 firefighters is not reducing overtime. 140,000. I mean, you went from 16 to 21 firefighters in 17, 18, 19. You got the SAFER grant. We got four firefighters. You went to a 24-hour shift, which was supposed to cut down on overtime. We had a discussion at budget time, and I spoke to the previous chief about that. Obviously did not solve your overtime problem going to 24-hour shifts because nothing's changed. That's obvious. The numbers are right here. So I'm looking for the answer. I'm looking for the answer because I don't know what it is, and I'm relying on you. I'm sorry, but
No, I get it.
You've got the years of experience and you know how it works. And we just appointed you chief, which I'm thrilled about, but let's have the answer.
So the CBA got signed in 23. At some point. Do you remember? Let's see. So collective bargaining agreement.
That contract, their contract.
Well,
So
the 24 started.
It's February of 23.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact date on that, but so with that, there was 2 weeks added time off for every firefighter. So I don't know if that was budgeted for. I don't know. So each firefighter, so 20 firefighters times 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was discussed with the previous fire chief and he'd say that those numbers were accounted for. in the
Okay.
budget.
Okay.
We did bring that up.
because there was an increase in the time off, and then there was one other change. Oh, the minimum man at 4. That was the other change that was signed in at that point in time. So that's going to have changes after that. You know what I mean? Where you're locked into.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the change was not in practice, but it was in codifying the existing practice.
Right.
But nothing changed as far as staffing from year to year over the contract. The only change was that it was written in as such. But the schedule was enacted long before the contract codified it. The schedule was probably a good year before
Right.
it was in the contract. Just
And
so
it
we're looking at
reduces,
the
it
numbers.
reduces to 1 crew change a day, which reduces your late calls, your overshifts. And the overshift isn't really that bad. It's hit and miss. 8-2 payroll, there was a bunch of overtimes that were overshift. That's what overshift means. So you go to 2 crew changes if you're doing 12-hour shifts. You go to 2 changes if you're doing 8-hour shifts. You're going to have more overshifts.
So
Time in there.
if there's no way to do it with staffing, then, we have to take less calls.
And so here's the problem with this. With less calls, we have, first of all, let's just back up a little bit. So we have a contract with our firefighters good through 2028, okay? With that contract, there was give and take. If you sat at the negotiating table, there was some give and take with that contract. So yes, they were being paid for those, being compensated for the Kelly days that they weren't previously. But we have a contract to abide by. We have 24-hour shifts. We have a minimum of staffing of 16 on the payroll. And then we have contracts with Shelby, Ridgeway, and Yates to service for and the hospital. So Shelby, the 3 municipalities pay in for our services. So there's a lot to take in here from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, but if we start dropping calls, we're letting some of the people who are paying into the service, we're not holding true to a contract. We're letting potentially some of our residents down, and we're losing revenue by not taking calls. So it's been a busy week. I know that with current staffing, when 2 ambulances are out and we need a 3rd ambulance, if the chief is working, unless someone else comes in to get the overtime, we can't take a 3rd ambulance out right now. And because we're staffed at a minimum, our guys are getting so much overtime, they are tired and they have to be able to sleep. So I think it's not cut and dry, but I think that as a group, we need to try to work through to solve the problem. We have a problem presented to us. We need to work as a group. And since we have new people, we didn't expect to have 4 new people on board. Now, yes. But they're getting less pay. I mean, their starting salary is this year is $46,818.
It's good benefits.
And they have the same benefits as everyone else, but they get less of a salary than some of our older people and the people who have left. But with that, they can't be on staff right away. We didn't plan on injuries. We didn't plan on having to hire 4 new people at once. So there's a lot right now. I mean, it is very heavy, and we've got to come out of it. And I think we really need to look, to try to get some transfers in, and we need to get up to a staffing that's not going to cause so much overtime. So at minimum staffing with 4 people per platoon, anytime someone calls in sick, takes a vacation day, that is causing overtime, and they're entitled to that in their contracts to take those days.
Well, I think we all, so you mentioned that we have contracts, the contract with, and they pay us. What does the hospital pay us?
We have,
It's not monetary.
it's a not a monetary, yeah, I didn't think
So
so.
they
And
don't
that's
pay
what
us?
we were going to, you and
So
I.
I ran the data on the hospital health. I had asked for that a while ago. Never received that information. So after I was appointed officer in charge, I reached out, got that data. So here's the historical data on the transfer. So you'll have 20, starts at 2020, and then it goes up to 24. That side.
Thank you.
I talked to them yesterday. Their director of operations called me back. And that's why I suggested in that one email back that probably get a rep from there. So she said it's been a while that since she's been out. She said Debbie was the clerk treasurer last time she came out. I don't know if she said Matt was the chief or if Tom was still the chief.
What is her name?
Lynette.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that was, Debbie? Remember when she came out?
Oh, geez, I don't.
Pre or post 2020?
So can you explain, can we look at
Maybe.
the 23, 24, wait, this isn't hospital. I'm looking for the hospital. How many we've done and I know that accounts for a lot of our, a lot of our
These, all
reimbursement.
these sheets are MH.
Okay,
So what year you want to look at?
so let's look at the most recent. Can you look at up 7/14, 2025, 20 or 23 to 24?
Sure, the last one.
These are just hospital transfers?
Yes, that's what I specifically asked for. Because I wanted to see, you know, where do we stand? What's it look like? So.
So we had charges in the hospital, am I reading this right, of $804,363?
1
The
million.
mileages?
Oh, that's the mileage charge. Okay, so $1,396 for.
Yeah, gross total
okay,
service charges is almost 1.4 million.
just for hospital.
Yeah, 637 calls.
Okay,
Those are the hospital transfers.
okay, but then you have a net billable on the back because they take off. So it's really 664,000, just over.
Yep.
Okay. Adjustments.
So you're getting back 52.4% on that. And then what's open right now greater than 360 days is the 166,781.
How long does that stay open for? Do you know? Or
I'm not sure. It's still open on the other years. It's in less amounts on the other years. 21 to 22 fiscal year, it's 33,000 open. So just to compare those two. But, the MedX supervisor, more official title, it's bigger than supervisor. She would be able to get more specific.
Okay. So
Yeah.
21.
In the explanation of these numbers, not so much the numbers, but, what it all entails.
So 21, 22, we got 97% back, correct?
Looks like
21.
80% is the return rate. So I got, I had asked Jada to get a report of the open accounts from MedX. And what they gave her that she gave to me was from 2009 to 2024, and open accounts are 1.5 million.
On everything, global,
Yeah.
emergent, non-emergent, hospital, 9/11, okay,
Yeah.
from
1,400
2009.
1,428 calls. Right. Well, I think the point is that it's not, we're not winning. We're not winning in the ambulance game,
What's winning?
making any money.
We're not
We're-
gonna make money.
Okay. very interesting. So if we don't make money, who pays
It's-
for it?
Making money is like pure profit. So there's not
Yes.
gonna be a profit.
So-
That's what my definition is. I just want to clear that.
I understand that, but you bring up the point now that it's now going to be subsidized by Village of Medina taxpayers. That's my problem. Thank you for driving.
That was
that.
always my knowledge and
Well,
thinking
I'll
of
tell-
that,
I'll
even
tell you
before I
what.
came here as an employee.
I'll tell you what, in the beginning,
Mhm.
when we first started with the ambulance service, those ambulance revenues were covering the department. I mean, if you can see it, you can see they're pretty much on
Can I
par.
get all that historical data to look
And-
at from 2007 to now?
And what you can also see that the ambulance revenues are stagnant. I've been saying that, we all know that, and the costs of the department have escalated.
And just,
So it's, I mean, it makes you wonder, you know, when the Village of Medina taxpayers are saying, we're paying too much. So
In
It's
2010, it
beholden-
wasn't covering our costs, and because I had conversations with the chief at the
it
time that hired
doesn't
me.
cover your costs, but it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better than it does
So
now.
we weren't making money though. It wasn't like if the fire
No,
department cost
No,
1
probably
million.
not,
we weren't-
probably not.
It'd be illegal if we were making money off of a service,
Yeah,
right?
you cannot.
Well, and so then why is the village providing it?
We're providing a service. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, the only reason that I wanted to interject is because I'm hearing some of your answers, and while I understand them, operations of the department is where we're expecting answers from you. Correct me if I'm wrong, whether or not the finances come out ahead or behind, as long as the operations are tight, you're not responsible as the chief to,
Sure.
right?
Good
To
point.
make the ambulance system profitable, like we
I think
can
as the
decide.
chief, he does have a responsibility to pay attention to the finances. He has a budget he has to follow.
Yes, but as far as like, say, I just don't want him to feel pressured to respond to the laws and regulations and how we get reimbursed and what things cost. Like, the operations of the department, he needs to be able
He has
to.
to know that.
Yes.
He has to understand how it works.
Yes.
And he has to understand where we're coming from when we're having these discussions.
Yes.
That's the point of me saying it, not because I'm expecting anything else from him, but then to understand.
Right, and
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify it, like,
Yeah.
at no point in time, I don't think the ambulance has ever covered the fire department budget, not to the knowledge that I have right now. So, nor did any chief tell
So I think that right now, the purpose of the meeting tonight is to understand the overtime, correct? Ask Chief Cooley any questions that are burning regarding the operations. And then we need to brainstorm to see if there's, any other ways that we can run the department more efficiently, still provide the service, but run it more efficiently.
I think bringing medics into the fold, definitely, that's got to get done here soon. I mean, I would like a face-to-face with them, being the new guy. Being the new guy to handle things with them. And I think it's been a while since they met with Captain Young, because they would come out regularly and meet with Captain Young. Maybe not regularly, but Captain Young and Chief Jackson.
Okay,
So
so that's one solution,
we'll
bring
get
medics out
them
here.
Set up and then ask the billing point of view, like, what can we do? And ask them about the law changes that happened, that took effect. Like, we know we're not going to see the immediate increase January 1st, I believe. And I think other changes are set to go forward, take place farther into this year. I can't remember. There were several. It was very confusing. And some of those bills got signed in the middle of the night. And then I was at an EMS meeting a couple of weeks later, and they still didn't know the full impacts of these laws that were pushed through.